On June 30, I went to the Ateneo de Naga University main campus to continue my task of gathering updated original versions of my school and government documents, which I have talked about in a previous vlog. I will link that down below. This is actually me returning to the Ateneo after I have filed my requests for the documents that I needed last July 19 and July 20. And it should have been a straightforward documentary request. However, here is where the complications arise. And I hope you listen carefully, because if you have graduated from or attended any Philippine college or university sometime before 2013 or 2014, then this will most likely affect you as well. Sometime in 2013 or 2014, the Commission on Higher Education, which is the government agency that regulates all colleges and universities on the tertiary level, meaning college level and up, has created a new policy which applies retroactively. And the policy is, if you have attended any course or program from college and up, regardless if you have actually graduated with a degree or did not graduate but have earned units from the program, it is no longer sufficient that you have only a transcript of records. You must also be honorably dismissed and transferred to the next school or college you will be attending. And this document, this honorable dismissal, comes in the form of a document that should exist before you can be issued a transcript of records. And it should be addressed to a specific school. This was not required before 2013 or 2014. So because I graduated from college way before that, and I also finished my methods of teaching way before that, and I also earned some units for a master in business administration way before that, then I did not have an honorable dismissal. But I did have my transcript of records for college, for which I have a degree. That was okay then, and that was all that was required. Now I need my transcript of grades for the methods of teaching, which I finished, but which does not come with a degree, and my MBA, which I didn't finish, but I have earned units for. And the university cannot give me the transcript for both methods and the MBA units because I have not been honorably dismissed from college specifically towards methods and MBA. Instead, I was honorably dismissed from college towards the University of the Philippines in 2003 when I started studying there. That honorable dismissal did not even go through me. It was a school-to-school direct correspondence, as was that policy then. So now the dilemma that the Ateneo Registrar's Office is facing is, how are they now going to dismiss me from college towards my methods and MBA, which started around 1999, when they already dismissed me from college towards UP in 2003. The dates will no longer match. UP cannot honorably dismiss me yet because I'm not yet done, and I still have to undergo my final thesis defense. And even when I am done with UP and I have already graduated, UP cannot honorably dismiss me in 2023 back in time to 1999, just so I can get my transcript of records for methods and MBA dated 1999. Where is the sense in that? This is kind of absurd, and I feel for the registrar's office regarding this matter. I mean, they are just trying to be compliant with government policy, but government policy is not reasonable. I mean, if they really needed to implement this kind of policy, why did it need to be retroactive? That is the dilemma now. Anyway, I arrived shortly before the office hours resumed after lunch breaks. I had a few minutes to sit and be quiet, and at 1 p.m. I was given my transcript of records for high school, which was a document issued by a different school, but the university had a record of it because this was submitted to them when I entered the university for college. And I also got my college transcript of records because, remember, they have already honorably dismissed me from college towards UP. Anyway, for the meantime, I was advised that in my case, because my methods of teaching is not attached to any degree, I can try to appeal for a transcript of records for reference purposes. I can try and see if the other college allows it. And so that's what I tried to do on this day. I walked to where the Ateneo Teacher Training Center was to explain to them why I needed my transcript of records for methods of teaching, but they were closed on that day. I will need to go back on a different day. On the way to the next task, I gassed up at Shell, for which I have a loyalty card. I gassed up 500 pesos worth, and this is now the cost of gasoline at Shell in my city. This is per liter. The next task was to go to the post office to request for a renewal of my postal ID, which had expired last year, but I never noticed. A couple of weeks ago, I was here. I already asked what the requirements were for the renewal, but here is another plot twist. The same person who told me the requirements a couple of weeks ago now told me that they cannot renew any postal IDs at this time because of the fire that happened at the central post office that destroyed everything. But she did not tell me that a couple of weeks ago. She didn't tell me then that they cannot process renewals of the ID. And that was surprising because the fire at the central post office happened in May. So she knew about the fire, everybody knew about the fire when I asked her about the renewal when I was here a couple of weeks ago. But then she told me to just get a national ID instead, and I told her I already applied for that 2 years ago, but I have not received it. Now, this took a turn for the slightly better because she told me that if I had the claim stub for the national ID with me, she can check if it has already arrived with the post office. I gave her the claim stub, she checked, and it was already right there in this building. She told me to go to window 5, which I did, and the person there told me that my national ID has been with the postman since May 22, but at the moment the postman was out for deliveries. When I asked her why it hasn't been delivered to me, she said it depended on the schedule, quote unquote. So I asked her, can I just claim the ID myself right here? She said, yes, I can, but I have to return at 4 p.m. when the postmen are back. I said, okay, I'll come back. So I walked back to my car. And I hope you can notice that I'm also showing you the state of the building of our Philippine postal system here in our city. I actually have not had any breakfast or lunch yet because of my really strange sleeping patterns for the past year or so. Or should I say lack of sleeping patterns. So I decided to drop by to Galway Cove for something light. I ordered lasagna and a cucumber lemon drink. It was okay, like the lasagna was okay, nothing special. At least I got to eat something. By the way, this is an old house that was converted into a cafe. By the time I got out, it had already started to drizzle. Next, I dropped by Hong Enterprises because I needed photo sticker paper so I can make my own stickers featuring the cover of my novel. I wanted to make one sticker of that to place on my laptop, and instead of paying someone else to do that for me, and that service is available here in my city, I decided to try my hand at it myself. If I fail, then I'll get it done somewhere else. And I did film myself placing stickers on my laptop, which was basically a tutorial on how to place stickers on your laptop in a non-permanent way. That video also has an announcement about a giveaway of stickers, so please check it out. I will link it down below. I also needed my usual matte sticker paper, and I did look for the Seagull branded clear book refills, but I could only find these ones under the brand Joy, and the label says they are thick. At least I think this label means they use the thick plastic, but I'm not really so sure. They feel all right to me, not flimsy at all, but I feel like they are not as thick as the Seagull. And I also noticed that they are only half the price of Seagull. They have the same hole configuration, so I can totally use this in my existing clear book, which I created for my government and school records. I talked about it in a previous video, which I will link down below, but I am not sure of the thickness of these Joy ones. Anyway, I decided to get just one pack just to try it out. If I don't like it, I can give it to my mother, who also uses these, but she does not like the expensive ones. Everything cost a total of 107 pesos. And then at about 20 minutes past 3 o'clock, it was almost time for me to be back at the post office. But before going there, I dropped by the office that manages all registered persons with disability in my city because I needed to follow up something with them. And here's their office, but they are at a meeting. According to this note on the door, it is a 4-hour meeting. Fancy that. The post office was just nearby, but I drove there anyway because I wanted to park nearer because I was afraid it might actually rain. And when I arrived back at window 5, the staff there told me that the postmen were already back, and she referred me to the postman assigned to my area, who then signed my claim stub and gave me my national ID. Finally, after 2 long years of waiting, I have my national ID. And when I saw my picture in the ID, it brought back so many memories. It was that long ago. I had a very different hairstyle then, and my life was so different then, and my face was different. The final place to go to on this day was the National Bookstore branch here at SM because this is where I know the Seagull branded clear book refills are always in stock. I've brought you to this store many times before in my different vlogs throughout the years. This time they actually had more clear books available and in stock, but these are not the Seagull brand. However, this all black cover was calling out to me because I remember thinking before that the purple patterned cover that I had on my clear book was not really my style, and I wanted a simple basic black cover instead. But now that purple cover has started to grow on me, so I'm sticking with that one, and I ended up buying only the clear book refills. I purchased 3 packs. After paying, I walked over to the food court because I was a little thirsty again, and I had a craving for the mais con hielo that I had once before at Ice Blink. Here is my queuing buzzer, and it was a short wait because mais con hielo is quick to prepare. I requested it for takeout because the mall was so crowded and noisy, and I did not have enough energy to deal with all that on this day. But at the same time, traffic was also very bad because it was a Friday and a payday, and some schools were having their graduation ceremonies. So everybody was just out of the house, all over the place. So I ended up staying a little bit inside my car in the parking area where I had my mais con hielo. It is really just corn with crushed ice and milk and ice cream, and some chips on top, and of course there's sugar in it. The sky was already dark, and so it was going to rain, and it did rain later on that evening, but for the moment I had some quiet time with myself. Even after I had already finished my mais con hielo, I decided to stay on a little bit longer because my next class with the Clarion West Write-a-thon was at 8 p.m. I had time to decompress while enjoying the view of a gloomy sky.